Hi everyone, it's Tracy from Yoga Within. Yoga Within. Today we're going to do a 40-minute flow. So if you have never done flow before, it's a really fun practice to do. It really moves with the breath. Don't be afraid of it. Try things and adjust as you need to. And I'll give you a few modifications along the way too. So we'll think of it a little bit as a dance. So we move with the breath and get a really nice full body stretch and strength. Okay, so we're going to start standing. You can start at the front of your mats and just feel the anchoring of the feet on your mat. Spread the toes and feel the weight down through the heels as well. Just take your hands down by the sides, lift up through the legs, lift up through the spine and soften your shoulders, and just close your eyes for a moment. Bring your focus inside and notice the breath entering and exiting the body. When you're inhaling, you're really expanding the rib cage. When you're exhaling, you're just letting all the breath go. So just take a moment or two here to clear the mind, to keep that focus on the breath. Just soften in places where you might feel tension. And it's just a feeling, a little bit of letting go. Good, so we'll just bring that focus back, deepen the breath a little bit. Open up the eyes. Good, we'll get started. So you're gonna come to the fronts of your mats, just bringing the toes together, maybe the heels apart a little bit. And with your breath, just think of breathing in and out of the nose. If you know Ujjayi breath, you can use that. But just think of breathing in and out of the nose to keep the heat going through the practice, okay? So we're gonna start kind of slow through some sun salutations. We're gonna just find the breath right now, really grounding down through the feet, lifting up through the spine. And on an inhale, let's lift the arms up overhead. Maybe take the gaze up to the hands. And then exhale, soften your knees and come forward into a forward fold, dropping the head. Now inhale, lift the head up. And exhale, fold again. And we're going to come up to standing on an inhale, lifting up, taking those arms up overhead. And then exhale, take the hands down through heart center and down to your sides. Let's do that again. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, soften your knees, taking your hands down to the shins or to the floor and dropping the head. Inhale, lift up. And then exhale, folding. Again, inhale, lifting the arms up overhead. And exhale, taking the hands down to your sides. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale and folding, hands to the shins or the floor. Inhale, lift that chest up, taking the gaze forward. Exhale and fold. And then inhale all the way up to standing. And exhale, taking the hands down to the side. Good. So now we're going to add on to that sequence. So inhale, lifting up. Exhale, let's fold. Hands come to the shins or the floor. Inhale and lengthen. And now on your exhale, you're going to take the right foot back and then the left foot back and come into a plank position. So pressing back through the heels, lifting up through the belly and keeping the hips low if you can. Pressing through the floor to lift up to the upper back. You're looking straight down. Top of the head is reaching forward. Breathing here, feeling the strength of this pose. And then let's come back to downward facing dog. Spreading the fingers, keeping your knees soft if you like, maybe even bending one knee at a time, just to get a little movement through the hips. Good. Now try to keep those shoulders away from the ears. Just let the head kind of hang between the arms. Breathing here. Don't forget your breath. And then keep the weight going back into your legs. So you can keep your knees soft and send that tailbone back. Or if you can get the heels down, you really can feel the weight going back. Lift up the belly a little bit, opening up the upper back. Good. Okay, let's look forward. Let's walk or hop the feet to the hands. Inhale, lift that chest up. And then exhale and fold. And then we're going to come up to standing on the inhale. Lifting the arms up to the ceiling, taking the gaze up. Exhale, take the hands down. Let's do that again. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale and folding. Good. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, we're taking one foot back and then the other, and just holding our plank here again. Press back through the heels, reach forward through the top of the head, and take those shoulders away from the ears. The lower belly is lifting as you even out those hips. Try not to have them too high or too low. Really strong pose here. Lift up through the upper back. Now from here, if you know chaturanga, you could go through it. Otherwise, take your knees down and lower yourself down to the mat. And then lift yourself up into cobra or all the way to upward facing dog. Good. And then you can come back to tabletop or scoot your feet forward to come back to downward facing dog. Good. Breathing here. You can always take rest by coming down to child's pose. Whenever you feel you need to get out of whatever other pose you're in, keep thinking, taking that weight back, lifting up through the thighs and dropping that tailbone back, lifting the belly as well. The head is just hanging between the arms. Breathing here. Good. Okay, let's take the gaze forward. Walk or hop those feet forward to the hands. Inhale, lengthen through the arms. And exhale, fold. Good. Inhale all the way up to standing. One breath. And then exhale, take the hands down. Good. We're going to do that again without holding the plank quite so long. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, let's fold hands to the shins or to the floor. Inhale, lifting the chest. Exhale, one foot back, other foot back, and then either go through chaturanga or take your knees down and lower to the ground. Inhale up to cobra or all the way up to upward facing dog. And then you can come back to tabletop or roll over those toes to come to downward facing dog. You're going to be here for 5 breaths. So that's 1. Open your shoulders. 2, taking the weight back into the heels. 3, lifting the lower belly. 4, just allowing that head to feel nice and loose between the arms. And 5, good. Let's take the gaze forward. Bring the feet forward. Good. Exhale and fold. And inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, taking the hands down. Good. Okay, we're going to do this again and we're going to add on to it. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Good. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, taking the feet back. Now feel free to stay in plank if you don't want to go down, or you can take the knees down or do chaturanga. It's up to you. Lots of options here. Inhale, lifting up to cobra or upward dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Good. We're going to turn the left heel in. We're going to take the right foot forward and lift up to warrior 1, and we're going to hold here for 5 breaths. So really bending that front knee, pressing back through that back heel. 1, gaze up to the hands. You might want to bring the arms down if that's better for the shoulders. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Try to keep your legs where they are, but open up to warrior 2. You might need to make a little adjustment with the feet. Keep the knee above that ankle. We're looking at over the right hand, reaching back through the back hand. That's about 2 breaths. 3, 4. Good. And 5. Let's take the left arm over, come back down to that lunge, back to plank position, and then back to downward facing dog. Good. Now we're going to turn the right heel in, take the left foot forward, lift up to warrior 1, and again, hold. So you can always take those arms down a little bit, right? Press back through that right heel for 1, 2, 3, 4. Drop down through the hips if you want to deepen. And 5. Good. Trying to keep the legs mostly where they are, turning to your right, opening up the chest, reaching through both hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Let's take the right hand over, come back to plank position, and then back to your downward dog again for 5 breaths. 1, taking the weight back. 2, lengthening through the spine. 3, 4, and 5. Good. Taking the gaze forward. You might want to bend the knees and hop forward or just walk the feet. It's up to you. Inhale, lengthen through the chest, through the arms. Exhale, let's fold here, dropping the head. And on your next inhale, lifting the arms up. And exhale, take the hands down by your sides. Good. And breathing here. So we're just going to take a moment in mountain pose to just gather and come back to our breath a little bit. So just ground down through the feet. Soften your shoulders, close your eyes for a moment. And just come back to that breath. Breathing in and out of the nose. Calming the mind. And think of evening out your breath. Even inhale and exhale. Good. Now slowly come back, open your eyes again. We're going to widen the feet. We're going to come into Trikonasana here. So if you want to block, you can sure use that for this pose. So let's start with hands on the hips. Turn the left toes in, right toes out. We're going to lean over that right leg and reach the hand down to the shin, to the floor or a block, or even the big toe. Now think about taking that left hip back, turning the torso and lifting that left hand up towards the ceiling. Breathing here. See if you can lift up through that bottom hip. Good. Keep breathing. That's about 3 breaths. 4. And 5. Good. So from here, you're going to take the gaze down, lift up that back heel, bend the front knee, and come down into a lunge. So press back through the heel and reach the right knee forward towards the toes. So you get a really nice long stretch through that hip flexor and lift the chest. Good. Breathing here, lengthening, feeling the opening. Awesome. Try to soften the shoulders down. Good. Now we're going to drop that left knee, lift the right toes, and get a nice stretch in the hamstring here. Breathing, keeping those toes up. See if you can bring the right hip back a little bit. Good. Breathing here. Nice. Good. Come on back up to that lunge. Press back through the heel. Now drop the heel and lift yourself up to standing. And we'll do the same on the other side. So turning the right toes in, left toes out. You're going to lean over to the left and take the hand to the shin or the floor or the toe, wherever you want. Maybe using a block, opening up the chest, lifting up that right arm. The gaze can be straight ahead, or you might turn it up. Good, keep breathing. Lift up that lower hip up towards the ceiling and back towards the heel. That's about 3 breaths. 4. And 5, good. The gaze comes down, the hand comes down, the right heel comes up as you lean down into this lunge. So press back through that back heel. The left knee is forward. You're lifting the chest, looking forward. Breathing here, really opening up that hip flexor on the right side. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Good. Nice, long, deep breaths. Drop the shoulders down from the ears. Good. Let's drop that back knee, untuck the toes, and take the hips back to stretch the hamstring on the left side. So the toes are pointing up. You're dropping down if you can. Now take that left hip back towards the back foot, which means the right hip might come forward a little bit. Breathe here. Feel the opening through the lower back and the hips. Nice. You can always stay up a little higher with this if you want. Good, let's come back to that lunge. Lifting up that back knee. Now drop the heel and come back up to standing. Good. So we're going to do that same sequence, but not hold the poses as long. Okay? Left toes in, right toes out. Let's lean down into Trikonasana. Lifting that left arm, looking up towards the ceiling, lifting that bottom hip. Good. Take the gaze down, the hands down, come down into your lunge. Really lifting up the chest, looking forward. Good. Now drop the back knee, untuck the toes, and come back into that forward fold. Good. Breathing. Good. Come back forward, tuck the toes again, lift up to the lunge, drop the heel, and lift up to center. Other side, right toes in, left toes out. Lean down into Trikonasana, lifting that right arm, lifting the hip. Good. Looking up if you can, or looking straight ahead. Good. Take the gaze down, take the hand down, lift the back heel, and lower into that lunge. You're really pressing back through the back heel, right? Taking the knee forward. Drop the knee, untuck the toes. Take the hips back and lift the left toes. Breathing here, taking those hips back. Good, forward again. Back into your lunge. Drop the heel and lift yourself back up to standing. Awesome. Let's keep the feet here. Toes are in, heels are out just a little bit. You're going to inhale and lift up, and then exhale. Let's take the hands down to the floor. You're going to inhale, lift the chest again, and then slide those hands to the inside of the feet and drop your head. It might be hanging there, or you might be able to reach it all the way to the floor. Think about pressing in through the inner thighs, lifting up and in. Good. Trying to keep the shoulders away from the ears. You're squeezing the elbows in towards each other. Breathing here. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Good. Now let's inhale. We're just going to walk the hands forward again. And just think about lifting that lower belly, dropping the tailbone back, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. So you get a nice long spine here. The head is an extension of that nice long neck and spine. Good. From here, the left hand's going to come underneath to the right ankle. Try not to move the legs. And then you're going to lift the right arm up to the ceiling. So lengthen through that left arm. Reach up towards the ceiling with the right hand into a twist, keeping weight in the left foot. Now from here, bend that bottom elbow, take the right hand to the calf, and fold into the right leg. Breathing here, breathing here. You can always soften the knees a little bit if you need to. Good, come on back up. And let's just walk the hands back to center, finding that neutral position. So again, lifting up the lower belly, dropping the tailbone back, keeping the arms nice and long. Good, now let's reach under with our right hand to the left ankle. Keep that arm straight as you lift the left hand up. So you're trying to lift the chest up, up, up towards the ceiling. Breathing, keeping the right arm straight. Good, and then you can bend the bottom arm, take the left hand to the calf, and fold here. Breathing, getting a nice stretch along the back of that leg, side of the leg. Keep some weight in the right foot. Awesome. Good, come on back up. Walk the hands to the center again, and still just find that neutral position. Drop the tailbone, lift the lower belly. Good, now let's just walk the feet in a little bit. Good, bend the knees, keep the toes out so we can come down into a squat or malasana. So you might want to stay up a little bit high, or you might be able to drop down a little bit more, dropping those hips, pressing those elbows inside the legs. Now think about lifting up the chest. Good, breathing here. With each breath, hopefully you can just keep dropping those hips down and opening up that area a little bit more. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Good. Awesome. Good, so from here, take the hands down. And let's come forward a little bit and try a little bit of crow pose. So you might bring the feet in a little bit more and lift the hips up. Try to get the knees on the back of the arms and then lean forward. And you can just try, you might lift up one foot. You might be able to lift up the second foot and come into a balance here. Breathe here. If you come out of your wobble, just try again. Breathe, lift up through the middle back. Good, come on back down. And then come on up to standing. Whew, let's roll the shoulders. Nice job. Good, awesome. So from here, we're just gonna open up the feet again. We're just gonna do a little bit of a side bend before we come back down. So let's lift the arms up, bring the palms together. So your feet are a little bit wide. You want to keep your hips where they are, nice and centered, and lean over to the right. Breathe here, reaching, pressing down through that left foot. Good, reach up, and then over to the left. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Good. Lifting up, let's do it one more time. Keeping weight in the left foot as you reach over to the right. Open up the chest. Good. Lifting up and lean over to the left, keeping weight in the right foot. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Good. Come on up and take the hands down. Again, rolling the shoulders. Good. Let's come back to the front of our mats. We're going to come back to a little bit of sun salutation to take us down. So inhale, let's lift the arms up. Exhale, let's fold forward. Inhale and lengthen. And then exhale, let's take the feet back to plank. And we're going to hold here for a moment. Again, taking those shoulders away from the ears, press back through the heels. Now this is just a small kind of movement, but you're going to feel it in the obliques a little bit. You're just going to keep everything where it is, but turn the hips. One side, other side. Good, left and right. So you're trying to keep the spine straight. You're trying to keep your position solid, but just turn the hips side to side. Good, working the obliques a little bit here. Awesome. Good. And then from here, let's take the chest forward. Really drop the shoulders back. You're going to slowly start to resist taking the shoulders forward. Keep pressing the heels back. Keep pressing back. Dropping the hips a little more. And then eventually overturning those toes and coming up into upward dog. Breathe here. Good. Nice. Let's come back into downward dog. Breathing, holding, softening the shoulders, dropping the tailbone back. Good. Let's come down onto the knees. Open them up and lower down into child's pose. Breathing here. Good. Reaching the hands forward, dropping the tailbone back. Find your breath. Nice deep breaths. Good. We're going to lift up the head, come back to tabletop, and then we're going to slowly lower ourselves down to the ground. We're going to do a little bit of back bends here. So let's take our hands by our hips with the palms facing up. You can just drop your forehead down to the mat. Now just lift up one leg at a time to lengthen through the hips, through the legs. You're going to spread the toes, spread those fingers, press down into your mat. So you're going to lift the knees up off the mat. And then you're going to lift your chest up, taking the gaze forward. So really use the legs, use the feet, use the hands to lift yourself up. Breathe. You're reaching forward. Those shoulders are down away from the ears. The toes are reaching back. The fingers are reaching back. Breathe here. Nice. Good. Let's lower down. Awesome. And just shake out the hips a little bit. Okay, we're going to do that again. We're going to add to it. So pressing down into the floor, lifting the knees, lift the head and the chest. Now see if you can lift the feet. Keeping those shoulders away from the ears. Breathe here. Breathe here. Keep lifting. Pressing down and lifting at the same time. Good. Let's lower down. Good. Just relax those hips again. Shake them side to side a little bit. We're going to do one more. This time you're going to take your hands behind your back, clasp your fingers, and see if you can drop those hands down towards the glutes. So you're squeezing the shoulder blades. Press everything into the floor. Lift up the knees, head, chest, and feet. Breathing. Good. Breathing here. Lifting. Trying to take the gaze forward. Keep lifting the feet. Good. Let's come down. Nice. Take the hands under your shoulders. Lift yourself up to tabletop. And again, let's come back to child's pose. Dropping those hips, dropping the head. Nice. Breathing here. Excellent. Nice, deep, long breaths. So you can take the breath all the way down into that lower back, expanding the rib cage. Good. Lift your head. Come back up to tabletop. Bring the knees towards your hands. Cross the legs and then come down to a seated position. Awesome. Good. Okay, we're going to come into Upavishta Konasana. So we're going to widen these legs. You can just adjust the glutes here a little bit. So this is one of those positions where you just go as far as you can, right? Take the hands in front of you. Toes are pointing up, okay? You're going to open up your legs as much as you can, but if you need to bring them in, if it feels better, then do that. Hands are in front of you. You're going to slowly walk those hands forward. Maybe you bend your elbows and come down to the floor. Maybe you have a block underneath your forearms. Use whatever you need to come into this position. You're going to feel the opening in the inner thighs. Keep those feet flexed. Inhale, really lengthen through the spine, reaching out through the top of the head. And if you want to go further as your breath allows, reach the hands even farther away from you. And maybe you can drop down on an exhale, keeping the head between the arms. Inhale, really lengthen. Exhale, drop the head down. Dropping that tailbone back behind you and reaching the hands forward. Good. Breathing here. Keep breathing. Nice. Okay, let's lift up the head. Let's walk the hands back to the legs. Good. Now you're going to take your hand, or maybe the forearm eventually, inside that right leg to come into a side bend. So let's lift the left arm up and lean over the right leg. So this elbow is going to bend. You might keep your hand here. You might be able to drop it down to go further into this stretch. Try to open up the chest. Take the shoulder down away from the ear. And you might even reach that hand away from you if that feels good. But try not to lift up the left hip. Drop the sit bone down and breathe here. Keep breathing. Nice. Reaching that hand over the foot, lengthening all along that left side. Good. Come on back up and take the hand down. Good. Let's do the same on the other side. So you can start with your hand inside. You can use your block here too under your forearm if you like. Let's lift up the right arm and bend that bottom elbow to lean over to the left. Again, you might want to reach the hand in front of you, up to you where you want it. So really open up the chest, reach that hand towards the toes. Use your breath. So inhaling, expanding that rib cage, lengthen. Exhale, maybe you deepen into the side bend. Inhaling and exhaling. Good. Nice breath. Inhale and exhale. Fantastic. Good. Come on back up. Take the hand down and just shake those legs back to the center. Awesome. Pressing the heels forward, lifting up through the spine. Take the belly button back a little bit. Good. So let's just come into a twist. We're going to bend that left knee, take it under the right leg, take the right foot over the knee. And you can start by really bringing that knee and chest together, really hugging them together, taking the left arm around that leg. You want to feel some weight in that bottom leg and into that right foot. Drop the right hip as much as you can. And then lift up and turn to look over your right shoulder. To go a little deeper into this, you can take the elbow to the outside, but still lift up on your inhale. On your exhale, turn to look over your right shoulder. Breathing here. Keep pressing that right foot down. Nice. Feeling the twist. Good. Let's come back to center. Good. Just straighten those legs again. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So right leg comes underneath. Left foot comes over that knee. So instead of leaning over like this, you want to drop that hip down, hug that knee in towards the chest, pull it nice and snug, drop that left hip down, keep some weight in the left foot as well. Inhale, lift up, and take the hand behind you and turn. And same thing here, if you want to go deeper, you can take that elbow to the outside of the knee. So you can really press the elbow into the leg, leg back into the arm. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, turn, looking over your left shoulder. Breathe. Good, breathing. Really feeling the length on your inhale. The depth is on the exhale when you turn a little bit more towards that left shoulder. Good, come on back to center. Excellent. Shake those legs out in front of you. Just come into a little bit of a cross-legged position here. Let's take our arms out to the side. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, take them down. So keep breathing in and out of the nose. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, lower down. Good. Nice. We're going to turn so that the knees are bent, the feet are flat on the floor. You're going to reach the arms forward beyond those knees. Good. Tuck the lower belly in. And now round your back a tiny bit and start to slowly lower down. So you're going to stop about there. Breathing. You're trying to press the feet down into the mat. You're really tucking the lower belly and rounding your back. Come on back up to seated. Reaching those hands away from you. Good, let's do that again. Rounding the back, tucking that lower belly. So you're really using your core muscles, those center muscles. Breathe, 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 breathe. Did I tell you to stop halfway? Good, come on back up. Reach the hands away from you. Okay, one more time. We're gonna tuck the belly really round the back. Hold, hold, hold. Good, good, good. Nice, and now slowly lower yourself down. Bring the knees into the chest and just rock side to side a little bit. Good. So one more little movement before we come into rest. You're gonna bend your knees, feet flat on the floor. Just tuck that tailbone under a little bit. Take the hands to the sides. We're just gonna do a few hip lifts here in a nice kind of smooth flowing movement. So inhale, lift the tailbone and then the hips and the spine. On your exhale, lower it down one vertebrae at a time until you drop that sacrum down into the mat. Good, inhale, tuck the tailbone, lifting it up. Exhale, lower down. Nice and smooth here. Inhale, again, lifting up, and this time hold. So you might reach those hands towards the ankles. You might scoot the shoulders underneath and come into a bit of a chest expander. Find a position for you that's going to work. Think about taking those knees towards the toes, pressing into the floor. The chest comes towards the chin. Top of the head reaches to the end of the mat. Good. Breathing. Not to mention those thighs are moving in towards each other, towards the center. Good. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Nice. Let's slowly come down. Again, one vertebrae at a time. Good. Hug the knees into the chest. Good. And then maybe even bring the head up, holding the feet to come into a tiny ball. Breathing here. Awesome. Slowly come down. Let's do one more little twist. So dropping the knees over to the left. You're kind of hugging the knees close to your chest. Drop them over, open up the arms. You might even take the left hand to the leg. Looking over your right shoulder and sending that right hip down. So you're opening up across the hip and the right side. Breathe. Good. Let's lift the knees back up. Drop them over to the right, hugging them close. Maybe placing your hand on the leg, but reaching that left arm away, taking the gaze over to that hand and dropping the left hip down. Breathe. Great. Come on back up. Nice long stretch. And then just relax into Shavasana. Good. So just feel the relaxation through the whole body. Just letting it sink down into your mat. Softening from the feet all the way up to the head. Relaxing the hips, the shoulders, the jaw. Closing your eyes and softening the muscles around the eyes. Bring your focus back to your breath. And take these moments to simply let go. Feel free to stay in this resting position as long as you like. Thank you so much for joining me for 40-minute flow. Take care of yourselves and we'll see you next time. Namaste.